There's a kind of person who doesn't just want attention, they need it. They crave admiration, dominate conversations, and secretly fear being average. But here's the twist. Not all narcissists look the same. Some charm you, others quietly control you. In this video, built for those who truly want to understand dark psychology from the inside out, we're going to break down narcissism like never before, with clarity, maturity, and strategy. Step 1. Narcissism isn't confidence. It's emotional theft in disguise. Narcissism fools you because it looks like self-love. It wears confidence like perfume, bold, attractive, intoxicating. But underneath, it's not love, it's hunger. Narcissists aren't full of themselves. They're starving for validation, and they use you to feed it. At first glance, they seem magnetic. They talk with certainty, walk like they own the room, and make you feel seen in ways others don't. But it's not real connection, it's strategy. They study your weaknesses, then reward you for hiding them. For example, if you're insecure about your career, they'll say, "You're so humble, not like those people who brag about success." You feel admired. But what just happened? They praised your silence, so you won't speak about your growth. That's not love, that's emotional handcuffing. Narcissists don't compete with you openly, they do it by shrinking you silently. They'll call your bold ideas interesting, but never support them. They'll listen to your goals only to plant soft doubts. Do you really think that's realistic right now? They don't yell, they whisper, and those whispers rewire your confidence without you noticing. In relationships, they use what looks like love to create emotional debt. Imagine this, they do something grand, buy you a gift, throw you a surprise party, or defend you in public. But later, they weaponize it. The next time you express disappointment, they say, "After everything I've done for you," suddenly your needs feel like betrayal, and they look like the victim. This tactic is called emotional leverage, and it's deadly. It turns your gratitude into guilt and your guilt into silence. Narcissists love silence, not the peaceful kind, the controlling kind. They don't want less noise, they want less resistance. Now look at how they shape perception socially. In groups, they make sure to position themselves as admired. They might flatter the powerful, charm the vulnerable, and joke just enough to stay liked. Meanwhile, they talk about you differently to different people, planting versions of your character that don't match who you are. You lose your reputation in fragments, and you don't even know it's happening. Their favorite weapon? Ambiguity. They never say things outright. They didn't mean it like that. You took it the wrong way. They live in the gray area of interpretation, because in that space, they can always escape accountability. So what makes someone fall for a narcissist? Not weakness, not stupidity, but emotional hunger. If you're longing to be seen, heard, or saved, they sense it and become the exact person you crave. But it's a mask built from your wounds. The moment you feel safe, they start rearranging your identity. That's not confidence, that's construction of a cage, and most people don't notice it until the door shuts. How narcissists hijack your reality without ever raising their voice. You don't feel the attack because it doesn't look like one. Narcissists don't confront you like enemies. They charm you like lovers, protect you like friends, then shape your reality like puppeteers. The manipulation is quiet, precise, and deeply personal. That's why most victims don't even realize they're trapped until it's too late. They begin with subtle memory control. Let's say you recall a night when they insulted your dreams. You say, "Remember when you told me I'd never make it?" They smile and answer gently, "I never said that." You're imagining things. Now you're not just hurt, you're confused. You walk away wondering, did I make that up? That moment of confusion is their first silent victory. They don't just deny reality, they replace it. Then comes the emotional bait and withdrawal. In the beginning, they flood you with compliments. You feel rare, chosen, almost lucky to have found them. For example, on your third date, they might say, "You're the most intelligent person I've ever met. No one thinks like you." You glow inside, but a few days later, without explanation, they become cold and distracted. You ask if something's wrong, and they reply, "You always ruin things by being insecure." Suddenly, you're the problem, not their withdrawal, your reaction to it. This is conditioning, not affection. You begin to crave the warmth they used to give freely, and you'll do anything to earn it again. Even their apologies have sharp edges. Suppose you catch them lying. They don't say, "I'm sorry I lied." Instead, they say, "I'm sorry you always assume the worst of me." It's designed to reverse guilt. Now you're the one on trial, not them. Every apology becomes a redirection, not peace, power. And they don't stop at you. They'll start isolating you from your reality checks. A narcissist might say, "Your brother doesn't really get you like I do," or "Your best friend seems jealous of us." You think they're protecting your bond, but what they're doing is cutting off your mirrors. The more isolated you are, the more dependent you become. Imagine a bird that forgets it can fly because the cage was always invisible. The damage isn't loud, it's intimate erosion, one sentence at a time, one manipulated moment after another, until you start asking for permission to be yourself. But freedom starts with awareness. Begin writing down what they say, word for word, then compare it to your memories. Notice the patterns, rebuild your circle, talk to people who remind you of who you were before them, and when you're ready, go silent. Don't argue, don't explain, let them feel the absence of your reaction. It will confuse them because they've trained you to respond, and when you don't, you win. Narcissists don't want love. They want control, disguised as connection. A narcissist never truly wants closeness. What they want is compliance with a smile. They seek emotional contracts where they hold the pen, and you never get to read the terms. You think it's a relationship. They see it as a stage, and you're the prop. They don't want you to love them freely. They want you to need them so that they can decide when to give you affection and when to pull it away. That cycle becomes addictive because your brain starts chasing consistency that will never come. They love bomb you at first. That's phase one. They'll mirror your likes, your pace, even your speech. We're so alike becomes a seductive script. They text you constantly, compliment you loudly, and tell you secrets to fast-track the connection. But here's the truth. Most of those secrets aren't confessions. They're bait. Information overload creates false intimacy. And it works. Once you're emotionally anchored, they start pulling. They reduce the praise, stop texting, become colder, but never fully absent. It's just enough absence to make you chase. You wonder, did I do something wrong? The moment you ask that, the balance has shifted. You're not an equal anymore. You're an applicant waiting for emotional approval. Let's say you question their behavior. You've changed lately. Instead of answering, they'll say, "You always think the worst of me." It's subtle, but it flips the lens. Suddenly, your concern becomes the problem. You're not dealing with cruelty. You're dealing with emotional distortion, and it's strategic. They will criticize you when you're vulnerable, then praise you when you comply. Example, if you cry, they'll say you're too sensitive. But if you suppress your feelings, they'll call you strong or easy to be around. It's not encouragement, it's behavioral training. They're teaching you which emotions are safe to show around them, and slowly erasing the ones they can't control. This isn't just toxic, it's tactical. They make you doubt your memory. You say, "But last week you said this." They reply, "I never said that. You're imagining things." Now, you're not just confused. You start relying on them to tell you what's real. That's called gaslighting, and it's not drama. It's psychological warfare. Over time, your self-image gets so warped that you only feel good when they approve you. And that's exactly how they like it. They don't want you to feel powerful. They want you to feel lucky that they haven't left yet. That's not love. That's hostage-taking. Just without... But here's the worst part. The outside world doesn't see it. Narcissists often appear charming, generous, even admirable in public. So when you try to explain what's happening, people doubt you. That's how narcissists win. They isolate you, not by walls, but by erasing your credibility. And if you don't understand this game, you won't even know you're a player until you've already lost your sense of self. You weren't crazy. You were controlled by someone who made confusion feel like connection. But now you know the patterns, and knowledge breaks the illusion. You don't need to fight them. You just need to stop feeding them. Walk away with your power. Share this video if you know someone who needs to wake up. And subscribe to Dark Psychology Solutions, where truth hits harder than manipulation ever could.